Ladies, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades, Karibu Sana, this is Ken the Revolutionary. I'll be here for 30 minutes or less. I just want to address what's happening right now. The news reports are coming right now live from JKIA, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, the biggest airport in Kenya, that is in Nairobi. There seems like the workers there at JKIA have officially started uh, their strike. They've gone on strike. This comes as a result of them protesting, basically, the deal of Adani, that Indian company that has a checkered past. And a lot of people, the wananchi, basically, after finding out about this deal that seems to be no one knew about it and has been exposed as the government have been secretly made this deal with Adani. Now the people are rising up and saying, no, we don't want it, because they want to basically give Adani control of this airport for the next 30 years. And the Wananchi have said no. So it's happening, folks. It's happening. It's live and direct. It has started. People, there's a lot of, people stranded in JKIA trying to get out because the strike was supposed to start at 12 midnight. And there was a rush. People are rushing to JKIA trying to get out of the country. Some still stranded, some made it, some did not. Of course, including Larry Mado, whatever his name is. Hi, Gypsy Connor. Nice meeting you. Thank you for joining. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please, and you're seeing this for the first time, go ahead and subscribe. If you're already subscribed and you're seeing this channel, please go ahead and like, share, comment, and all the good stuff. Let's get started. Let me just give you a glimpse of what's happening at JKIA right now, as people, hundreds, if not thousands of wananchi are trying to make their way out, fly out. If you have a ticket that's, you have your flight off from JKIA, you must be stranded. Gypsy Connor say, thanks for coming. The strike is awful. Yes, it is awful. This is basically shutting down the country. You can't leave. You can't come in. Well, maybe if you're coming in, maybe the flights will be diverted to other airports. There's other international airports in Mombasa. I think it's Moi International Airport in Mombasa. There's Kisumu. There's Eldoret. But let's see. I don't know if people there, the workers of the strike is nationwide. The airport workers are doing it nationwide, or it is just JKIA. But here is the scenes, live scenes from there. Let me just play you and show you, give you a glimpse of what's happening there. Ani, karibu sana, nice seeing you. Like I said, I just got the news and I won't be here long, but I will show you. I have to talk about it. This is happening. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. One more time. There's another. Let me show you another clip too. This was not the only one. There's another angle to this in JKIA. So this will basically bring the country to a standstill. Could it be a start of a new form of protest against this administration? This should force the people, the politicians, the lawmakers, the president to do something. This Adani deal is something that people have refused. They don't want it. Can he respect the will of the people, or is he going to forcefully sell our, or at least lease our airport for the next 30 years to the Adani company that is known to be a corrupt organization. It's not up for a debate as at this point. I'm trying to play this clip here, and I don't know what's going on. So let's try again. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Okay, let's try one more time. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. I've applied. Karibuni sana, karibuni sana, karibuni sana, karibuni sana. Karibuni sana. Like the video, do not forget. WS Banka Baraka Kwako Pia. Yes, news about JKIA. It seems like the workers have made good of their promise to strike. We saw what's his face try to talk to the people there. Alfred Mutua tried a few days ago to talk to the people, but people.
Before we get to that, we've got some breaking news, and this is coming from the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, and we're getting reports of a go-slow that is in progress by airport workers. Remember, they have been protesting the Adani deal, saying that it might cost them their jobs, and that there has not been enough participation by to involve the airport workers' views as well on this matter. We understand there were talks between them and the Labour Ministry, but at this moment at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, there is a go-slow in process with the airport workers, and we understand it has caused quite the delay and the tailback for those who are traveling out of the country at the moment. We will bring you those pictures as soon as we get them and continue to update you on the ongoings at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport here in Nairobi. Before we get to that, we've got some breaking news, and this is coming from the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, and we're getting reports of a go-slow that is in progress by airport workers. Remember, they have been protesting the Adani deal, saying that it might cost them their jobs, and that there has not been enough participation by to involve the airport workers' views as well on this matter. We understand there were talks between them and the Labour Ministry, but at this moment at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, there is a go-slow in process with the airport workers, and we understand it has caused quite the delay and the tailback for those who are traveling out of the country at the moment. We will bring you those pictures as soon as we get them.
So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the fear of these workers who work in the JKIA in these airports, their fear is when Adani takes over. Basically, that's a new company that's going to run JKIA, and they might bring in their own workers from India or whichever, where, they'll hire new, if you have a new management, they might decide to bring their own team, okay? They might rehire, start a new rehiring process. So imagine you've worked there for 5 years and your contract maybe runs up to 10, and a new management comes in and says, hey, listen, we are going to do things differently. We are firing everyone. This is a total overhaul. We are hiring new people. So we are bringing our own people. It's a new process again. And like you said, already there was reports a few weeks ago. If you guys have been following the news, there has been a huge number of Indian nationals working at JKIA, which was a sign that Adani probably have started the transition process. They have started bringing their own people. And this is what drove the workers there and said, no, we don't want this because we are going to lose our jobs. And besides, Adani, as we have found out now, it has a history of, doing things in not so legal way. And it was never approved, the Adani deal. So by the time Okwara was reporting about that news, the slowdown was happening. But then a few minutes later, it's now, so many thousands of people, let me just say hundreds, if not thousands by now, are stranded at JKIA because after midnight, you cannot get a flight out, or there will be no flight landing in. The question is this going to be every airport in Kenya? Because if that's the case, then we might have a total shutdown. This is going to cause a really, really it will cost the government, because, I mean, there's so much. Now you see why actually, listen to me very carefully. Now you see why those Gen Zs were targeting JKIA. I didn't get it at first, but now I see it. You see the kind of impact this can really get to the country. It is a form of protest that's very effective, because imagine if all the airport workers across the nation refuse, strike. They say we're not going to work until this Adani thing is sorted out. Okay, we refuse this Adani thing. The more the government drags its feet trying to fight this, making sure this Adani thing goes through, the more it will cause a shutdown, a total shutdown. Because what will happen is this: no one can fly in, no one can fly out. Guess what happens? We'll have the situation. If you've seen the Nino, the clips that I've just showed you, it's like a protest there. No one can leave. Everybody's stranded. Everybody's is mad, and soon they'll start turning their anger towards the government for not acting accordingly. Okay, so couple that with all these fires that has been going on in these different high schools. We don't know what's going on about this. I mean, it's just ridiculous. These fires that have been going on almost every day, a new school is catching fire. To add insult into injury, or not to add insult, to add isitoshe, let me just say that we also have the university kids who are not happy with the new fee structure, which favors the rich and the Nino. So you can see all these things are kind of bubbling and they're coming together, and the Morara is also putting more fuel into the fire by exposing the government. And you can see the government is in a panic mode. I'm telling you, this government might crumble because they just mess up. There's fires, literally. And I'm not talking about the fires in the schools. Well, that's, I'm talking about the proverbial fire that are lighting up everywhere. This government is crumbling down. Adani problem in JKIA, in the airports, if it happens nationwide, it will be an issue. Are they going to send the army to go to Wachapewa to, up on Kwezi airports? They can't. Okay? If the students come out while this Adani protest, this airport workers are doing their thing, if they come out, that's another headache to the government. Okay? If people start protesting about these fires that are happening up and down across the country, that will add fuel to the fire. Okay? So if you have the university kids, and the teachers too, who are just they might decide to go out and strike. Okay, and Gen Z also might say, you know what? While this is going on, we want to occupy the state up. So you see, everything is culminating into this big ball of a cluster. You know the word. I won't say it. This is basically what's happening in Kenya, and it's adding up. And let me read the comments, then I'll show you that clip one more time. Then we'll move on to another step. But our main aim is we want to monitor what's happening in JKIA. This will force the government to act quick. I told you, the Morara effect is happening. That's why you saw Alfred Mutua today came out with this ridiculous idea of talking about the government shall have a countrywide roadshow about job opportunities. How silly is that? But let's go to the comments real quick, then we'll get to that. Gypsy saying mafias stick with mafia. Normally the Europe planes take off at midnight Kenyan time. Okay, yeah, but you know what? If you will have a flight to Europe tomorrow, you are in trouble. If you have a flight from Europe or whichever part of the world, and you try to land in JKA, you will have nowhere to land unless other airports are open for you to operate. But this can really, really be effective, and the government will be forced to act. Okay. Aya, tuone WS karibu sana. He's saying wewe ni mimi lakini katika wakati na nafasi tofauti. Okay. Greetings, Chief Niggas. Greetings. Nice to see you, folks. Aya. Sawa, let's go to that Ninio one more time. Then I will go to another issue. I will show you that video by Alfred Mutua. He's trying to convince the Kenyan people because this Morara effect is really is really affecting this government. That's why you see they're in a panic mode. They're trying to do stuff to show people that we care about you, because it might be too late for this government and there will be no other way but for them to basically live up. Yes. So, like I say, this is one issue with the airports, which is a major one. It will cause a huge shutdown to the country, a real crisis, okay? Because if you have people, stranded and workers already out there, could this be something that will precipitate a full-blown catalyst for a full-blown revolution, popular revolution? This might be it. I don't know, but we never know. We'll see. The government will be forced to act quick to resolve this issue because this is not a good thing for the government. Let's look at Alfred Mutua after Morara's tour countrywide exposing failed government projects. Now they started announcing something as ridiculous as you can hear Alfred Mutua tell us. Take a look at this very quickly. Alfred Mutua was out there with the press, having a press, giving us bullcrap. So as you can see, the government says they're planning on a nationwide road shows to raise awareness on overseas job opportunities. Mutua says, again, we had this discussion yesterday. Why is this government so interested in sending people to have jobs outside of Kenya instead of creating jobs in Kenya? Speaking of jobs, yesterday we had a gentleman, Melchizedek, who told us about the conditions in Saudi Arabia and how, I think he's in Qatar or Saudi Arabia, whatever, one of Qatar, I think. And he defended basically saying that all that stuff that we had before the World Cup, they were just porojo. Of course, there were incidents where the companies that were hiring people were not adhering to the rules. So that's, before World Cup, as Gypsy was going back and forth with Melchizedek, he was reminding us of how we had reports of people dying in their job, of overheat, overtime, and all that stuff. Well, there's a Kenyan lady who just made and this is what I tried to ask Melchizedek yesterday. And, he was getting really rattled a little bit. So I kind of didn't want to poke that. And, I already had, some, exchange with somebody else. But I just wanted him to give us a glimpse of what's happening out there in the Qatar or Saudi Arabia, Arab world. And because, I don't know. So here's a lady. She's in Saudi Arabia, and I'll just let her do the talking. She's a Kenyan, stranded, her passport taken, and she's trying for help. She's trying to ask the government, Kenyan government, for help.
Hi, my fellow Kenyans. Mi sijui haki nitapata wapi kwa sababu niko stranded Saudi Arabia. Embassy imekataa kunisaidia. All they could do is to advise me jikatie ticket when my boss amechukua passport yangu na everything. I was left stranded in the airport. True, she had given me an exit. Na alikuwa amenikatia ndege, sijui ni ya ukweli ama ni ya uongo. But chenye kilifanya mimi nisi travel, she was forcing a bag into me na nikakataa kuchukua. Hiyo bag ni alikuwa amepack. I didn't know what is inside and it was in my bag. So I didn't attempt hata kuifungua kwa sababu sijui chenye kilikuwa kiko ndani na sikutaka fingerprints zangu ziache pale. So she tried to take me to a police station that is inside the airport. Wenda kujaribu kuniekelea makesi zenye sizo. and God is good, sikuweza kukuwa detained pale. So that led to mimi kuachwa airport kwa sababu lile lake halikutokea. So mimi nauliza, mimi nitasaidika vipi? Embassy hawezi nitolea travel document. I've been there 3 times, wanakataa kumtolea travel. Hata
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, is it the volume of the video is what you can't hear? Because it's on 100, but iko juu kabisa na imekata. So wacha nijaribu. Yo, it's full. Yeah, the volume is way up. Can you guys hear the video? It's like way up. Poleni is really low volume. Can you guys hear? Okay. Poleni about that. I think the okay. Yeah, it's a really compelling case. If you follow me on Twitter, you can see that video. That video is of I don't know what else to do because it's this Kenyan lady that's stranded in Saudi Arabia. The person she was working for took her passports and akila kitu. She's trying to get in contact with the embassies because she wants to come back. But the embassy wanamchezea wanampeleka huku hivi hivi. Then what else? Her employer packed her bag and gave her the bag and said, okay, I'll take you to the airport. And she was like, no, I'm not going. I didn't pack that bag. I don't know what's in there. I don't even want to touch it because, it might be a setup, So basically she's stranded. There's nothing she can do. She's trying to get in contact with the Kenyan government. She's depressed. Anajaribu kurudi tu nyumbani. She's trying to get back home. And these are the cases that I was talking about that, a lot of people who go to these Middle Eastern countries. I saw a case years ago of a young lady from Ethiopia who killed herself. she was it was the same case. The employer that she was working for, house help, took her documents and made her stay in the house. She could not leave the house for, I don't know, months. And she was being abused physically and sexually and all that stuff. So finally one day she escaped from the house and went to the Ethiopian embassy. And when she got to the Ethiopian embassy turned her down. So she climbed a tall building and threw herself to her death, committed suicide because she was frustrated. She didn't know what to do. She's trying to go back. She was hoping maybe the embassy might help her. But so there are numerous cases of places, of stories, similar stories like this. That's why, as my friend here told us, I think it's Chief Negus, made a very interesting point here, pointing out at she saw something on social media today concerning the government is hell-bent on sending people outside of the country for work. And I've been saying, why is it so? Why can't you create jobs in Kenya? Why do people, not every Kenyan wants to go to all these countries to be amboch or do construction work. No offense to anybody that does construction work in these countries, but not everyone wants to leave their country to do that. And then Chief Negus says there's allegedly a multi-generational plan by the West to intellectually cripple Africa over the coming decades in order for them to directly colonize us. Yes, and that's why they are very much involved in the education system, and that's why they're attacking it. Walitoa hiyo 844 wanataka kuleta hizo puzi zao. Okay, I agree with you. What else? Chief Negus says, hence the new university funding model and the useless CBC system to put education out of reach of the majority, which will necessitate us to bring in foreigners to run everything. Yes, yes, yes. I agree. Okay, and then Chief Negus says, and don't forget that they want to take our ancestral land away from us, stuff us into affordable housing. Yes, if it's one big monster of a plan touching on all aspects of our lives, absolutely. They want to take your healthcare. They want to take your land. They want to take control your healthcare. They want to control your economy and what you own. Okay, so you'll be just a robot. It's like you are leasing everything in your own country. You don't own it. That's the plan. I think Mbogo, what's his name? Mbogo spoke about this. I think I have a video of it, if I'm not wrong. Let me just play something that's related to it. Here it is. Hear me out. Okay, here it is. Let me just show you real quick. He posted something about that. Here it is. Like the video, guys. Don't forget to like the video. Here is a situation. I think this is concerning land and the new taxation that Ichungwa was behind this, I think. I hope you can see the screen. Can you guys see the screen? Okay, there it is. So here, let me put it this way. Okay. Sorry, guys. Let me put this. All right, that's better. I like this one. So you can read it and see it well. Steve Mbogo wrote, the implementation of taxation of freehold title land is back and with force, as we predicted earlier. The clauses were sneaked back through assemblies and are now being pushed across the country. Wake up, Kenyans. Watch my earlier prediction on the same from minute 4. You will own nothing and be happy. Here's a video which talks about the freehold taxation. I think it was Ichungwa who kind of introduced it and sponsored that bill in Parliament, Senate, or whatever.
So mimi naomba hiyo isiwajalishe, kujeni msikize wewe uko kategori gani, huyu uko kategori gani, huyu uko kategori gani, huyu
This guy is dumb. Exactly. This guy is ones who are paid.
Yes.
Come in.
Yes. 5,000 for a quarter or less. What about 50 acres? And if you don't pay that land rate, they'll take your land. They'll take your land and say you haven't paid the land rates. And you don't generate income on that land. It's just your land, your family land. People are trying to steal your land. God damn.
Naomba sababu kuna mahali wakati tunafanya introduction umekatiza kwa maswali, si ndio? Tukiongelea mambo ya freehold. Kuna mtu ako na freehold anaishi tu. Sawa?
Ndani yake.
Kuna mtu ako na freehold ameweka shule. Huyo mtu ameweka shule na anacharge wanafunzi. Si ndio? Hiyo ni biashara.
Go round jua huyo.
Yeah, you can do a blanket.
Exactly.
He said.
We are setting our WhatsApp group. Number.
I've put my name already.
You're there.
Yes, I'm there. Show us where in the Land Act it says you can charge rates to freeholds. Where in the Land Act does it say that, my friend? These guys want to steal your land.
All avenues.
35,000 per year for a quarter or less, and 100 acres.
Yeah, 10 acres is one.
It doesn't matter. Do now extrapolate from that quarter.
10 acres ingekuwa basi kwa hiyo schedule yako.
Na tumesema do your survey. Do a survey. Don't do a blanket. Do a survey.
So what you're doing is informing.
We are passing. It's already passed.
So what is the point of being here then?
Oh my God, this has been passed. Y'all are in trouble.
When was it passed?
In fact, we should be reading that later.
Oh my God. This is not a consultative forum. This is not public participation. This is informing you that you now have to pay land rates on freehold people.
Bottom up reverse.
Oh my God. How do you want people to listen to something that's illegal?
We're informing on an illegality.
Where in the Land Act does it say you can charge rates on freehold?
What you are not using, what you are not differentiating, there is freehold, and you are just using for
Is it broken down like that in the Act?
It is depending on the use.
Exactly.
This is the it's there.
Yes, this is the act that we're going to challenge in court.
No, tumekuelewa vizuri sana. Wewe ndio hukuwa tayari watu wakuelewe. Ulifikiri tu utatitrate na watu watadownload na wa-upload. These are actual human beings who can reason. You thought you were coming here to lecture people. These are grown-ass people. This is not a school, and you're not a principal.
Yes. It's unfortunate.
Okay, so you see that what's going on. So there's basically the Chungwa, I remember, had this funny law that he wanted to pass. Here's Mbogo was talking about. It's a 6 minute. I won't play the whole 6 minute, but because it's kind of lengthy. But anyway, I think it's what is it called? Freehold law or something? Is it? Yeah. But anyway, you can see like Chief Nugus basically told us, this government is adopting the globalist agenda, where we are losing our sovereignty as a nation, whether it comes to our economy, our products, what we produce, our land. We don't even own it anymore. We are going to be taxed. They are going to tax the heck out of it. And they're going to come with this climate change nonsense so they can also take more land. Okay, we are going to import the goods that they want us to import and extract whatever they want to extract from us, and do so without any qualms or questions from our government. As you can see, our government has already totally sold out to the West. It's very, very, very disheartening to see. In fact, I think I will play a clip by Jimmy Wanjigi, by the way, who was on Spice FM. He talked about something that was interesting. In other news, you saw, I don't know where to start before I get Jimmy Wanjigi. Gaucho came out and is trying to link Morara with Uhuru Kenyatta. Gaucho is not something I would normally pay attention to. I think he is just a noise maker. It's so funny that he says that since... let me mention something that's interesting about this Gaucho stuff. It's interesting how Gaucho met Kasmuel and welcomed him at the Bunge of la Wananchi after Kasmuel had a meeting with Mike Sonko and Millie Odhiambo. And you can see this Gaucho guy is not mentioning Kasmuel, is not saying Kasmuel is being propped up or being paid by Uhuru Kenyatta. But Morara, who hasn't associated himself with Mike Sonko or any politician for that matter, he is calling him an Uhuru-sponsored, person. Okay, and it so happens that he's doing so after Raila Odinga, his Ayatollah, has joined hands with the president. So, as you know, the theme for this government is always to point fingers at the previous government. Sorry, you can't hear me? All right, Jamani. What's going on with the volume? All right, volume of the video. Okay, sorry. Okay, let me play the video. I actually hadn't played the video yet, but let me play it so you can see it for yourself. And here.
Kwa ndugu yangu Marara ama Morara, huyu kijana anasimama juu ya gari. Usidanganyane, hata ukidanganywa wewe unaweza sema president, sijui unaweza kuwa deputy president wa Jimmy Wanjigi, sijui unaweza kuwa nini senator, sijui unadanganywa boss. So my friend, watu wanaweza kupenda juu sasa wanajifanya kwamba umechukia Ruto sana, na iko watu ambao wanakutumia wewe, the same people ambao walijaribu kupindua Ruto na backdoor. Ndio sasa wamerudi na strategy ya make sure wameblackmail na wanatumia vijana kama wewe, kama wengine, ili waseme ya kwamba Ruto hajafanya hii, Ruto hajafanya hii, mpaka project zingine. Baba wenyu Uhuru Kenyatta alikuwa hiyo wakati hakufungua, kuna kitu alifanya. Sijui kama hiyo wakati iko kuwa na vijana ambao wangesimama juu ya gari. Sijui. So my friend, Kenyans wanaweza kuwa wajinga. Sisi vijana tunaweza kuwa wajinga, but hatuwezi kuwa wajinga kiwango hiyo. So mimi nataka kuambia Morara, leo unaweza danganywa ya kwamba wewe ni smart kuliko akina Simba Rati. Unaweza danganywa ya kwamba wewe ni smart kuliko akina Soro. Unaweza danganywa kweti unaweza smart kuliko nini. Kasmuel alikuwa anataka kutumika hivyo eti apigane Wajaluo na apige Raila Odinga. Nilimwambia wewe usisahau wewe ni Mjaluo. Na iko mali utahitaji hao Wajaluo na unahitaji Raila Odinga. Na wewe pia usisahau unadanganywa kwamba unaweza kuwa senator, unaweza kuwa president, unaweza kuwa nini. Politics ni local. Nini unafanya ambaye ina favor wa Kisii? Kusimama juu ya gari saa zingine saidii wa Kisii kama tribe. Kusimama juu ya gari japeleka mtoto wa Mkisii ama jatengeneza barabara huko Kisii. So lazima Morara, hata kama unasimama juu ya gari lazima ujue wewe ni.
So this imbecile, what has Morara being a Kisii have to do with anything? Morara has not been focused on only the developments of Kisii. He has been doing it countrywide, okay? Whether it's in Mombasa, Machakos, whatever county he goes to. This has nothing to do with him being Kisii. But again, Gaucho has basically told us that Kasmuel has been compromised by saying that, okay, I had to remind Kasmuel that he's a Luo, so he needs to align with the ODM Raila Odinga nonsense. And now you saw him taking pictures with those crooks. And surprise, surprise, he started talking about, civil education and the whatever. You have to report to what do you call it? The collective, okay? He has to approve, and he wanted to prop himself up as the head of Gen Z. So you can see, basically Gaucho, reminds us, that Kasumel is gone. He's been compromised, all right? Now, Morara was on Obina's show. I'll just play a clip of what he said, which basically echoed something that Jimmy Wanjigi also said at Spice FM. Okay, here is a clip of Morara at Obina show. I like this short clip of his. I think there was 2 of them. I may have one. Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to subscribe and share, like, and comment, and do all the good stuff, okay? Like the video and subscribe if this is your first time. Here's a clip of Morara at Obina's show explaining something about Ruto, okay? Here it is.
Memsho mse amecram numbers as Ruto is very sharp and very intelligent.
That's true.
Ukishamwambia jina hivi hawezi sahau. Memsho mse amecram numbers za simu kama 100. He is bright. Akikuja kwenu anaongea about kwenu kushinda wewe. Hii barabara ya kutoka hapa Mogweko kuingia mpaka hapa Kiabo Nyoru, kutokea mpaka Itibo, hiyo tayari nimeweka mpango. And he can mention all of them without fail and without messing up. He is not dumb. You cannot steal as much money as he has stolen by being dumb. You have to be extremely brilliant for you to steal that kind of money. He knows what he's doing. It is intentional, and he is not alone. It is a structure, a script that must be followed. The mission of these people is extract the natural resources of the country, exploit the population, then dominate them. Pora, peleka nje, weka, tulia, uwa hiyo economy ilale chini. Hiyo economy kisha lala chini, rudi na ile pesa, nunua kila kitu na watu. So that now you are a rich landlord with Kenyans working as your servants on your lands. You own the means of production.
That is true. And somebody else echoed what he said. Somebody else. Could it be that he's working closely with this gentleman right here? Could it be? Because their language seems to be kind of similar. Are you ready? This is the guy that I thought he kind of spoke the same language as far as their reasoning. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe they're reading from the same script.
About civic education.
Hold on. Do they not see the benefits even to themselves of a huge economy?
CT, that's a fantastic question. And with it, because we started on this show, primarily talking about civic education, I want us to go backwards. Because Ruto is just but a symptom of something that started here in 1887. When a company called Royal East Africa Company came to Kenya from India.
Royal British?
No,
not IB.
Royal East Africa Company first.
Yes.
And then in 1902, you had IB, Imperial British East African
Company. Yes.
This company came after the so-called Scramble of Africa conference in Bismarck did in what was called Prussia at the time. Now, what was its motive? It came here to extract resources, to exploit the people.
And they didn't pretend about it.
Right? And to dominate. They did not pretend. It was a private company coming here for profit. In 1902, when it changed to Imperial British East Africa.
Yes.
It to extract resources, to exploit the people.
And they didn't pretend about it.
Right? And to dominate. They did not pretend. It was a private company coming here for profit. In 1902, when it changed to Imperial British East Africa,
yes,
Kenya became a protectorate. Correct?
Yes.
And as a protectorate, the British government was sort of saying, we are now coming in. That company, you talk about IBEA, Kenya. So this is a private company here to make profits, right? Who became the civil servants? Those people who are here to extract, exploit, dominate. Who became the policemen to dominate? They are watchmen who are there to protect the master's property and the master's exploitation and extraction. In 1920, it was formalized in full. That has been the model of Kenya. But remember, even as they were so-called extracting and exploiting, they were always bankrupt. They kept being bailed out, kept being bailed out. Why does that sound dissimilar to what we are doing today?
And who kept bailing them out?
The British government.
Yes.
And then they tried to bring taxation, all right? And they started with the hard tax and many other taxes. And that model continued in independent Kenya, where today you get to power with your 10 friends and you decide you're going to exploit, you're going to extract, and you're going to dominate. Do when you don't listen, askari wanatumwa kwako. Those are the watchmen. They don't even appreciate that you're the one who pays their salary from your taxes. Your taxes keep getting increased and your debt burden continues. That model has never, ever changed. Never. It's now been 100 years plus since 1920.
Okay, you saw that, and he gave a historical context too, when how the British came in through. It was always about cooperation. Okay, that's why when they landed in Kenya and started, grabbing the land, doing all that stuff. Well, W.S. Banker, I think we have the solutions. Do you know this? I know you're not asking me specifically, you're asking him, but I think we know what we need to do. What we need to do is to change the person running the state, who is William Samoei Ruto. Legally, we need to remove him. And that can only be done through popular revolution, as we can cite the first article of the Constitution, reminding these public officials that we, the people, hold sovereign authority, and the authority that they have, that's the powers that they have, we've delegated it for them to represent us. Okay? So once we take it, we as the people should remove Ruto and the legislative body too. Then have a serious surgery in the judiciary too. Okay? Then form our own government, our state, headed by someone who we democratically vote into office that will adhere to the Constitution, 2010 Constitution that we agreed upon, right? If the system remains, then the line of corruption remains. Yeah, but what exactly is the system? It is the system of corruption of, what do you call it? Lack of respect for the rule of law. You saw that IG, what's his name, that was court ordered to show up and explain about the lost students. And he has never showed up, and he doesn't care. In fact, I heard that the judge that gave out the order was threatened by a police officer. What's the name for it? What's the name? Impunity. Some people feel like they're above the law. And we can see with the IG case. So if we had a functioning system, or let me just say that functioning system, the problem is that we have public officials who do not want to implement or live or obey the Constitution, the rule of law, okay, which is called impunity. They are corrupt, they commit murder, they steal money, and they don't care about these courts. They feel like they're above the law. And that is why the system is not working. So the problem is not the system itself, it's the people who are in place who we voted for directly or indirectly to do our bidding, who are letting us down. So the solution is to remind them that we are the ultimate rulers of this country, the sovereign beings of this country. And that power, we can take it back and choose representatives, delegate this power to individuals who will respect the rule of law, the Constitution. And once they do that, everything shall fall in place when it comes to corruption, impunity, everything that is making this country not work. So the problem is not the system itself, but it's the perpetuated shitstem by these corrupt, fraudulent, criminal officials, public officials, who think they're above the law. They have their ass backwards. It is us who we need to rise up and remind them that we are the sovereign people of this country. Okay? The similar stuff that happened in Bangladesh was a stark reminder to the society that, hey, you parliamentarians, Prime Minister had to flee after trying to kill hundreds of protesters who took back power by going to the streets and reminding everybody that they were the sovereign people of that country. Something similar has to happen in Kenya. Could it be that it has started with the strikes at the JKIA? That's a possibility. We are going to see what will come of it, will come out of it. Because as I told you, everything is boiling up. Whether it's the burning schools, whether it's the saga at JKIA and the workers in the airport, whether it's the Gen Zs who are seeking a better country, everything is boiling up nicely, as Ogoda will always say in his tweets. So let's see what happens out of it. I just wanted to show a picture that was taken from Congo. Just a glimpse of how rich Africa is. Take a look at that. This is a gold. Sorry about that. Now you wonder why there's a lot of violence in Congo. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been 53 minutes. I just wanted to go through this just to summarize what I've talked about. The strikes are on in JKIA. It was supposed to start at midnight Kenyan time, and it is on. A lot of passengers, travelers are stranded at JKIA. And so I don't know yet if it's a countrywide thing or is it just JKIA. We'll wait and see. The schools are still burning and everything is going haywire. You can see, as I mentioned, Alfred Mutua has announced that he will have road shows telling people, young folks, of the opportunities, job opportunities overseas. Somebody should ask that Demwet, why should you tell us about jobs overseas? Kenyans are looking for job in Kenya, not outside of Kenya. Okay? So we'll see how that will turn out. And again, I mentioned this is due to the pressure that Morara has been putting on the government. Embarrassing governors and the president on what is happening. Yes, WS Bank is saying kabisa, ndio maana rasilimali za ardhi zinapaswa kugawanywa kati ya Wakenya. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and everything. Okay, I will leave it here. I will not be here tomorrow, and I will not be here on Thursday. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you on Friday, Furahi Day. We shall meet then, where we can sit down and talk more about politics. So hopefully nothing crazy happens in Kenya. I'll see you guys on Friday. Like, share, subscribe, and everything. I have to shout out a couple of people. Chief Negus, thank you so much. WS Banker, thank you so much for joining me. Who else? Gypsy Corner, as usual. My day one, thank you so much. Who else? My goodness. Annie, who also stopped by. Thank you so much for being part of this. Did I forget anyone else? If I forgotten you, please, poleni sana. And all of you who have been watching in silence, wherever you are, like the video, share, comment, do all the good stuff, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on Friday. I'm Anam Nagani. Peace and blessings, and stay safe.